Hello student, myself Professor Ushali Tapde from ICEEM Engineering College. In last lecture we have covered what is design pattern, what are the benefits of design pattern, what are the usage of design pattern, that is where it is applicable. We have seen what are the different application of design pattern. Then we have covered what are the different types of design pattern, who writes this different design patterns, that is what is a gang of four where this design pattern has been specified. Then we have seen the catalog of design pattern, which consists of 23 different design patterns. After that we have seen how these design patterns is get organized, okay, based on their purpose and based on their scope. So we have seen in the last lecture the organization of the different design patterns. Then we have covered the first design pattern. We have started with the first design pattern, that is nothing but a creational design pattern, okay. In that creational design pattern we have covered the first design pattern, that is nothing but a abstract factory. So in today's lecture again we have just in 5 minutes revised what is the creational design pattern and what is the abstract factory, and then we move on to the next creational design pattern, that is a prototype and singleton. Now the first thing again we have to revise is that what is the creational design patterns. Creational design patterns are the design patterns which are dealing with the object creation mechanism, trying to create the object in such a manner that it is suitable to the situation. That means it allows you, whenever your system wants to create the objects independent of how the objects are created, where it is get composed, how they are represented, who is going to be created, all these things, if your system is independent of how the objects are composed, they are represented, in that case you can use the creational design pattern. The basic form of object creation could result in the design problems or add complexity to the design. That means whenever we want to create object, when you are going to use the different types of classes for creating the object of that classes to solve my problem, in that case such a manual task is add some complexity to our design. But if we are using the creational design pattern, it solve that problem by controlling the object creation. That means who is creating, which class is creating, how they are get represented, how they are dependent to each other. All this task is done by the creational design pattern. There are two types of again the creational design pattern is get divided based on the scope. Class creational design pattern and object creational design pattern. A class creational pattern uses inheritance to vary the class that instantiated, whereas the object creational pattern will delegate the instantiation to another object. These are the two types of creational design patterns, that is the class creational design pattern and object creational design pattern. The next is that in the last lecture again we have covered what is the abstract factory. Abstract factory is one of the creational design pattern which comes under the object creational design pattern. What the basically abstract factory does, it provides you the interface for creating the related, or we can say the dependent object without specifying their concrete classes. This is the main thing about the abstract factory. It allows you to create the dependent object without specifying their concrete classes. You can use the abstract factory if your system want to be independent of how the objects are created, composed and represented, as well as it can be used in a system that should be configured with one of the multiple families or products. Okay, so in last lecture we have covered what is abstract factory, where it is applicable. Then we have covered what is the structure of the abstract factory. Then what is the collaboration between the classes which are used for the abstract factory. Then what are the consequences of abstract factory, and lastly we have covered the implementation part, how it gets implemented. Now in today's lecture we have seen the prototype creational design pattern, what the prototype creational design pattern does, where it is applicable. Now the first thing about the prototype creational design pattern, it specifies the kinds of objects to be created using a prototypical instance and create a new object by copying this prototype. That means it specifies the prototype for creating the different kinds of object, and using that same prototypical instance you can create the new object. This is the main intent of the prototype. Now the next thing is that where it is applicable. Okay, prototype is applicable where when the system should be independent of how the objects are created, they are composed and represented, as well as it is applicable for the system when the classes to instantiate are specified at runtime, for example at the dynamic loading. This is next is about the whenever you want to avoid building a class hierarchy of a factories that parallels the class hierarchy of a products. In that case also you can apply the prototype creational design pattern. Then when instances of a class can have one of only few different combination of a state, it may be more convenient to install a corresponding number of prototypes and clone them rather than instantiating the class manually each time with the appropriate state. In that case also the creational design pattern can be applicable. Now what is the structure of the prototype creational design pattern? This is the structure for the prototype creational design pattern, in which classes are participated. The first one is the client, which create a new object by asking the prototype to clone itself. What the task of the client class? It creates a new object by asking the prototype class to clone itself. Okay. Then the next class is prototype, which declares an interface for cloning itself. What this prototype does? It declares the interface for cloning itself. Then next one is that concrete prototype class. This prototype class implements the operation for cloning itself. The prototype class only declare the interface for cloning itself, whereas the concrete prototype, it actually implement that cloning process. Okay. The next is that collaboration. Now in these classes, who is collaborated with whom? This is shown in the collaboration. A client asks the prototype to clone itself. That means there is a collaboration between the client class and prototype class. When the client class create the new object, it asks the prototype for cloning itself. Okay. Next one is that the consequences. What are the different consequences of the prototype creational design pattern? Prototype has many of the some consequences that abstract factory and builder have. It hides the concrete product class from the client, thereby reducing the number of names clients know about. That means it hides the process of how the concrete product of that class is get created, how the objects are created. Moreover, these patterns let a client work with the application specific classes without modification. So these are the some consequences which happens after applying the prototype creational design pattern. The first consequence is adding and removing a products at runtime. Okay, prototypes let you incorporate a new concrete product class into a system simply by registering a prototypical instance with the client. That's a bit more flexible than other creational patterns, because a client can install and remove prototypes at the runtime. First of the consequence of your prototype creational design pattern is that it can allows you to add and remove the products at the runtime. Next is that specifying new objects by varying the values. That means highly dynamical system let you define new behavior through the object composition by specifying values for an object's variable and not by defining the new classes. Okay, so you can specify the new object by changing their values. Then third consequence of the prototype creational design pattern is that specifying new objects by varying structure. The first thing is that you can change their values, and second one is that you can change the object's structure and specify it at the runtime. That means many applications build objects from parts and subparts. We know that most of the application they can build their object from main part and from the subpart. So for convenience, such applications often let you instantiate complex user-defined structure to use a specific sub-circuit again and again. So the next consequence of our design pattern, the reduced subclassing. That means it reduces subclassing. Factory method often produces a hierarchy of creator classes. What happened in the factory method? Abstract factory create the object, whereas the factory method it is applicable to the class creational design pattern, which create or produce the hierarchy of the creator classes, which are parallel to the product class hierarchy. But the prototype patterns let you clone a prototype instead of asking a factory method to make a new object. Hence, you don't need to create a class hierarchy at all. That means it clone itself, so there is no need to create the class hierarchy. Okay. So specific problems as well as the implementation parts of regarding the prototype creational design pattern using a prototype manager. When an application uses a lot of prototypes that can be created and destroyed dynamically, a registry of available prototypes should be kept. We need to keep the registry of which are the different prototypes that has been created or destroyed at the runtime. This registry is called prototype manager, and what this registry is called, nothing but a prototype manager, and it should be implement operation for managing register prototypes, like registering a prototype under a certain key, searching for a prototype with a given key, or removing one from the register, etc. That means whenever you create a prototype at the runtime or destroy any object with the help of that prototype, you need to maintain one register where all the information regarding that objects or is available. Okay. The clients will use the interface of the prototype manager to handle prototypes at runtime, and then they will be asked for permission before using the clone method. There is not much difference between the implementation of a prototype which uses a prototype manager and a factory method implemented using the class registration mechanism. So there may be only the difference consists in the performance. So next one is that implementing the clone operation. How to implement the clone operation, which is done by the concrete prototype class. Okay. So the small discussion appears when talking about how deep a clone should be. That is, a deep clones the instance variables in the cloning object, while a shallow clone shares the instance variable between the clone and original. Usually a shallow clone is enough and very simple, but cloning complex prototypes should use deep clones, so the clone and the originals are independent. The deep clone needed its component to be the clones of the complex object component. There are two types of cloning, a deep cloning and shallow cloning. A deep cloning clones the instance variable for the cloning object, whereas the shallow clone, it shares the instance variable between the clone and between the original prototype. The next one is that initializing clones. How to initialize the clones? So there are cases when the internal state of the clone should be initialized after it is created. That means once you have created the clone, it should be initialized after it is get created. This happens because these values cannot be passed to the clone method that uses an interface which would be destroyed if such parameters were used. In this case, the initialization should be done by using setting and resetting the operations of the prototype class, but by using an initializing method that makes the parameters, the values at which the clone's internal state should be the same. So, this is the in this way we can initialize the clones. So, this is about the prototype creational design pattern. How the prototype creational design patterns work? It's simply using the single prototype you can create the different types of objects with the help of this prototype. Then where it is applicable, a system where it should be the independent of how the objects are created, composed and represented. Then next thing we have seen about the structure of the prototype design pattern, in which there is the client class, prototype class, and next one is the concrete prototype class. Okay. So the client prototype class is collaborated with the prototype class. Prototype class clone itself, client create a new object by asking prototype to clone itself, and then the concrete prototype which actually performing the cloning operation. Okay, we have seen all this. And what are the consequences of the creational design pattern? That is adding and removing the products at the runtime. Second one is that specifying new objects by varying values, specifying new objects by varying structure, and then reduce the subclassing. These are the main consequences which we get after applying the prototype creational design pattern. Again remember, prototype creational design pattern is object creational design pattern because it allows you to create the different types of object by using the same prototype. So it is applicable to the object. Next thing is that we have discussed about the various problems which have occurred while using the prototype creational design pattern and their implementation method, how to create the or how to implement the actual the clone operation. And lastly, we see the process of initializing the clones. There are two types of clones, deep clone and shallow clone. Deep clone which clones the instant variable, whereas the shallow clone, it will share that instance variable between the clone as well as between the original. So in this lecture we have covered the prototype creational design pattern. In the next lecture we have started with the singleton creational design pattern. I hope you understood this. Thank you.